What's up, everybody? This is Squiggy with the Music Experience and Loudwire's Gear Factor. I am hanging out with the Falcon himself, Mr. Richie Faulkner.
Good to see you, man. You all
Dude,
right?
thanks for hanging with us, man. Thank you
pleasure.
so much. What was the song, what was the riff, what was the move that made you want to pick up the guitar?
I think it was a combination, really, of everything that Hendrix was and represented. You know, I think before I picked up a guitar and played it, you know, we had tennis rackets and cricket bats and stuff like that we'd sort of pretend was the guitar. But it was everything. I think it was Jimmy at Monterey, Jimmy at Atlanta. It was just the visual, the sonic assault that Jimmy gave, and visually as well. Just the whole thing that was just out of this world, really, and still continues to be unmatched.
What was the first song you learned on the guitar?
Wild Thing. Because it was like 3 chords, and I wasn't playing it in the right key or the right voicings or anything like that, but it sounded to me like Wild Thing. And I actually remember my dad had a friend in a band called the Angelic Upstarts, and it was like a punk rock thing around London, and he lent us this guitar, and it was like he'd painted it himself. I think it was probably like a Melody Maker, like an old Melody Maker or a Les Paul Jr. or something like a double cutaway special thing, and he painted it fluorescent red with fluorescent yellow, green, blues, purple splattered all over it. It was this amazing punk guitar. And I went out onto the street in front of the house and I was playing what I thought was Wild Thing, and this little old lady walked past and she put 10 pence on the wall.
Oh,
you know, she laid it there, like, I was thinking, hold on a minute. Yeah, like a light bulb went off, you know what I mean? I found out later on that's not, you know, if you want to make money, don't do this. But
right.
Yeah, I sort of put the 2 and 2 together. She got enjoyment out of hearing me play something like that, and it was like, well, you know, and that's how I sort of got started with that side of things, you know.
Do you remember that time when, you know, the audience, you know, either cheered in a certain way or they gave you something back, that it was that moment in time that, like, kind of like the world made sense?
Yeah.
You know?
That's a clear one. I remember we used to do this residency in a pub in Camden Town in a band called Metalworks, which, you know, coincidentally is a name of a Priest compilation. But it was like a metal and rock covers band, and we used to do everything from, you know, Purple, Sabbath, Maiden, Priest, Bad Company, Free. We used to do them all, you know. And we played with Les Binks used to play on drums as well from Priest. And there was a moment where I'd had a few shandies, I must admit, but I was sort of getting into it, and we used to play from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 12 o'clock midnight, so it was a long gig, and it was almost like, you know, that's where you do your 10,000 hours, you know, you're doing it every Sunday. We did it for hours on end, all the classics, and you're learning so much. Again, not just about playing, but interacting with the crowd and the band and sound and everything like that. And there was a moment where I was getting into something, and I looked up, and everyone in the place was looking.
Oh, nice.
It was
awesome.
It was a moment where I thought, I've got this, I've got it. You know what I mean? I can do it, and it was one of them moments, you know.
So from coming from a band that was playing covers, playing some Priest covers, do you still kind of feel like that guy in you know, where, because now you're playing with Priest, obviously, but just you, because I can tell you're a fan of guitar. You know, you love guitar.
Love it.
I mean, you could just tell by your vibe, your aura, right? So I'm sure it's not lost on you, obviously, playing in Priest, but coming from a band playing Priest with other guys, and now you're playing Priest with Priest. Obviously, there's some big differences, right? The guys, but do you still feel like the guy that's in that pub, you know, or have you kind of embraced the next level?
Yeah, I think so. I think you have to. I think when you join a band like Priest, you have to kind of you have to step it up a notch, you know. But I think it's all those years in the pub, and as I said before, learning more about not just the instrument, but the interaction with the band and the crowd and everything like that. I think that all is like a masterclass without knowing it, you know.
You do have a Falcon inlay, and if from some of the interviews I hear, is it Rob that calls you the Falcon? Right?
It
Just
is.
so people understand why that's there. And
well, a few people call me it now. It's stuck, you know. But Rob came up with it. It came from when I joined the band. My surname is Faulkner, and it came from Falconer, which originally were, you know, a group of people that owned, trained, and flew Falcons for like dignitaries and you know, royalty and all that sort of stuff. So we kept Falcons, and that's where the name comes from. And he picked up on that, and he called me up from the beginning. And it's kind of stuck from there. So it goes on here, and I think it's on. This isn't my pick, but I've got it on picks, and I've got it on a tour jacket and whatever. So it's one of those things, and I've got some like bits and bits. It's just kind of, it's like an ongoing theme that seemed to have stuck. So that's what it is.
Well, I wanted to thank you, and as well as your signature Epiphone, for hanging out with us and letting us kind of experience and get to know you a little bit better.
It's a pleasure.
This is Squiggy with the Music Experience at Loudwire's Gear Factor, hanging out with the Falcon, Mr. Richie Faulkner. Horns up.